Hey everybody! So this week on Saturday Scribbles, we're going to be doing some really simple facial expressions. And I'm just using a Sharpie pen and a mechanical pencil. And I kept most of this video real time, so if it's too slow, feel free to speed it up using the YouTube settings. But I just wanted people to see that it's really fast to make these facial expressions and pretty relaxing. The facial expressions that I'm drawing today are not groundbreaking. I did not wake up one morning and say, I have come up with the perfect facial expressions. No, these are expressions that I've seen throughout my childhood and adulthood, and I've adapted them or just simply adopted them into my own style. But the nice thing about them is that they are so simple and recognizable, and you don't have to put a lot of detail work into them. Something to note when it comes to if you have eyebrows on your characters or if you decide to use the lines for eyes is that if a character is happy, the eyebrows are usually arched in a circular pattern above the eyes, or the eyes will be slanted upwards. If you have a character that's sad, then the eyes will be slanted downwards or the eyebrows will be slanted downwards. And if you have a character that's angry, the eyebrows will be slanted or the eyes will be slanted towards the middle of the face. If you just look at yourself in the mirror and make an angry face, you can kind of see how your eyebrows come together in the middle. And that's just a small detail to think about when you're coming up with your own expressions or using these expressions, something to look out for. These next facial expressions are some of my favorites to draw, and the bored/zombified look. And maybe you're zombified because you did too much Netflix and chill. Or maybe, like many of us, your circadian rhythm is completely messed up. But hopefully that's not the case. But with these, like with the first one, it's pretty bored looking, like no opinion, neutral face, eyes aren't even open, mouth has no expression. And the next one has a little more character in there, but based on the eye shape, you can tell that the character's just not that interested. And in the bottom one, which is really zombified, you have the dark circles under the eyes, and you have the drool coming out of the mouth, and it's just, that's beyond the point of no return. Like, you need to take a nap or eat some brains or something. But they're definitely my favorite expressions to draw. In a moment, I'll give you a preview of my very impatient cat and why it's imperative that I do voiceovers and do not use live audio. Now, for those of you who want to make a head to put these faces on, which is not necessary at all, I just do really simple character designs. And so you can start out with just a circle and then kind of narrow it down towards the bottom. Depending on your style, you may want to narrow it down more, or you may want to be like me and keep it very subtle. And I don't worry too much about the body, so I just kind of draw lines where shoulders would be. And this character is going to have a little happy face. And again, it's very simple. I'm not I'm not an artist by any means, so I'm sure that many of your characters are going to look much better than mine. But the hair, I just kind of do extravagant, over the top hair. It's easier for me. And I don't put too much detail in the hair. I just kind of add a few lines here and there to show hair direction, but that is not necessary at all. It's just what I prefer to do. And you can play with hairlines, you can add in shadows, you can color it and put in midtones and all that. But this is just super simple. I like to draw this style of character whenever I put them in my bullet journal or if I'm making a card for somebody, because you can take the little details about a person and really make them stand out. So if somebody has like the cat eye glasses, if you draw the character close enough to what they look like and then add cat eye glasses, then it looks enough like them that they'll recognize it and hopefully appreciate it. And that's just fun for birthdays and Christmas and everything. Or in times like these, maybe a card of encouragement, like, hey, you got this. We're going to make it through. I'm just going in and adding some details here and there. And eventually I'm going to make the hair a little more realistic for my case. Add some crazy strands. The next character I'm going to draw is my basic chunky cat face. And I think honestly, at least for my style, I would use any of these faces on an animal character. It just makes it more interesting for me anyway. And again, when I draw cats, I usually draw them a little chunky, so this one has a double chin because my cats have double chins. But that's what makes them adorable. And so I'm going to make this a happy cat as well. And at first I thought I was going to leave the eyes not colored in and just leave them hollow, but eventually I changed my mind. But I think it looks cute either way, just whatever suits your fancy. This is just a different angle of looking at the faces before we move on to the next one, and trying to show you a little more detail of what I was doing. And in a moment you'll be able to see one of my helpers, not the one that was meowing earlier, but a different helper. So what if you don't want to draw a whole head? Maybe you just want to show eyes and the top of a head, or just a facial expression just enough. So that was my bullet journal. And I'll show you on the sticky note how to draw just a top portion of a head with an expression. Again, you can use this in a bullet journal or card, or maybe just a fun doodle during those Zoom meetings. And again, I think it's important to point out that hair is not my forte. I just did a little quick outline of what I thought, or how I perceive short hair, I guess, and just kind of did a little lines for the hairline and little squiggles on top. Show some spiky hair. And I sped it up for you. Seemed a bit much to sit through, but you're not missing anything, don't worry. And then I just gave it a little tension mark on the side, like I did in the bullet journal. And now we're gonna draw another cat, because why not? And this cat's like the one I showed you in the picture earlier, where it's kind of a side profile and meowing crazily, like the cat that interrupted earlier. And it kind of looks like a Pokemon. If you know that Pokemon, comment below. Mostly in all of us, just have fun and be silly and draw faces and make little characters. You can do this on stick figures. Just, whatever makes you happy. And it's just fun to mess around with. And there'll be some non-paper shenanigans coming up shortly. If you decide to do this, please do not do this with anybody else's fruit except your own, and do not do it on fruit or veggies where you eat the skin, because that is a very bad idea. Well, guys, this has been Lydia, the Outreach Librarian, and I hope that you've enjoyed this video. I look forward to talking to you all next week.